So I remember creating chandeliers for Vijay Mallya with all the liquor brands together, asked him to order a A380 aircraft and hung it on the ceiling, managed to get a replica of the F1 car in the lobby.
So you're extremely passionate about design.
Very passionate about design. Those days Arshad Mehta used to stay at Madhuli Apartments. Madhuli was my first branded building. I got to do pest control. I've done pest control in that whole building with my own hands.
Why were you doing all this?
And I've never learned to say no in my life. So jo kaam aata hai, kar lenge. And I'll do a damn good job.
What was driving you at that time? Was it money?
Money always came as a byproduct.
College student asking me that I want to get into content creation. I want to get into AI for that matter, but I don't understand tech. I don't understand media.
Anything that's not your comfort zone, go for it. Just jump into it. देखेंगे ना ऐसी कौन सी चीज जो नहीं जमेंगी.
To a 20-year-old, they do not have the confidence and the charm that you are talking about.
If you allow yourself to be intimidated by people, that's one route you take. Second route you take is to shock everybody in the room with the level of knowledge that you come with.
What part of your personality helped you sell better?
Dialogues coming my way, useless. So that was frustration inside, wanting to do something.
We talk ourselves out of this key. Oh, this is not me. This I can't do.
That's your ego speaking that this is not me. You are a nobody. Petty people can't grow. You don't have the jigra, you can't grow.
Did you have a mentor?
You're nobody's blue-eyed boy who's going to sit and mentor you. Get out of that filmy sapna of mentoring.
I'm working with all the Birlas and Ambanis and Vijay Mallas of the world. What is it that you picked up from them?
Guys, I know you're watching this podcast because you want to start a business. That's all of our end goal. But one thing that no one talks about is how hard the back-end part of business truly is. Like when I started freelancing and Finit, I did not even realize that GST, taxes and managing accounting can be so complicated. All those issues still bite me till date. I was literally writing everything down on a Google sheet. And I wish someone had told me to keep everything in an organized manner. I've lost a lot of time and a lot of money because of all these back-end things were not always in order. That's actually why I've been meaning to tell people about Doola. Doola is this platform which helps you handle the entire business backend. You can set up your LLC in minutes. They manage all your tax filings, handle bookkeeping and everything. And what I like is they don't just give tools and leave you. They actually offer free consultations to walk you through everything, especially for creators or new business owners who don't know where to begin, what to do. So if anyone listening and is serious about turning your side hustle into a real business, I would recommend checking out Doola. The link is in the description and you can use my code to get additional 10% off.
I want to go back to your journey where you started, which is the pest control business. People don't really understand that you can't just literally get into this business directly. मतलब 5 साल में like 22-year-old, he feels that 23 तक के मेरे को इतना पैसा कमाना है कि मैं भी ऐसे रेड चेयर में बैठा हूँ. That doesn't happen. So I want to go back to 1990s when we started the pest control business. How small was that business, if you can first talk about it, and why did you get into that business?
So I was in Nagpur doing my diploma in mechanical engineering because diploma in mechanical engineering, you're a nobody, you've not scored well, and that's why you're in a private engineering college because you paid some small amount of donation. The donation amount my parents had to pay was $7,000 to get me an admission there. It was not the best of colleges, to put it very mildly, but that college taught me a lot. However, in that college, we used to have a mass copying results because most of the Biharis would come with a desi katta or a chaku and put it on the table. The examiners would run away and the poor guy would just give a mass copying results. So I remember Nagpur. This was 1989, 90, 2 years we got a mass copying result back to back. So no matter what you study and go, it's the entire examination in the whole institution is null and void. It's like as if you're watching a Hindi movie scene. And it used to be live in my college. It was very common. Those days, desi kattas used to be not the way it is today.
Mirzapur vibes.
Completely. Very common. There were people who flaunt them freely. Today, if you flaunt them, you had it. But those days, it was a different story. So I decided to drop out of college because whatever little I understood by then, that even after I get the diploma, the only job I would get is to be a supervisor in a machine shop in some factory. So I decided that milna na milna is not going to make a difference to my life. And I had a plastic ka bhoot those days to create plastic toys. And I wanted to set up a plastic toy factory that was there. And then the Iraq-Kuwait war happened around then. I came to Bombay and I started working somewhere in Jogeshwari with a hand injection molding machine manufacturer. The name of the company was Vaspan Machines and Tools. They would make these hand injection molding machines. I worked there for a month as an intern. And then I kind of, through an uncle, got a reference in Rajpal Plastics. So I was thrilled that I got a job in Rajpal Plastics. To shatter my dreams when I went there, I realized that I was being used as a laborer to give breaks for tea and whatever on those big machines which were manufacturing buckets in Sakinaka. So I was being used as a machine operator, and those buckets used to be hot when it comes out of the mold, and these are automated molds. You need to cut the injection needle, otherwise the mold closes and then the entire machine would be jammed. So hot buckets with hands, workers are used to, but we are not. So initially a couple of days, I still remember my hands used to be blood red, burnt, because was not used to pulling out these hot molded buckets. And then with a blade, you had to cut the needle. Invariably, the blade would land up cutting fingers. But that was 1 month of journey I did. Difficult times.
Yeah.
And I got an understanding of what public transport is all about in Mumbai, because I would take a bus to Mahim and
Why were you
from
doing all
Mahim
this
to
though? What is the intent?
something to do now. I was having too much of pressure at home to pick up a job, do something. You know how a youngster goes through at the age of 18, 19, doing nothing, sitting at home. College is mass copying.
Yeah.
3 साल का diploma, 4 साल हो गए. So
College
everything
भी छोड़
was
दिया.
everything was negative, right? आते जाते, whoever wanted was a free for all dialogues coming my way, including my dear father. He would give me all the possible dialogues, useless. So that was the pent up frustration inside, wanting to do something. And I knew I had the ability to do. The conviction and the belief was always there. So I had sold off my racing motorcycle, got some money with it, and put up a pest control pump. I went to Baikala, bought chemicals. I was a big proponent of self-learning even then, now that I reflect.
Yeah.
Because I would never be worried about learning a new trade. I always believe knowledge can be acquired by research, knowledge can be acquired by practical working, and knowledge can be acquired by having some people guide you in some way. So for me, those storekeepers were my guidance. The people who sell chemicals, they would say, "Ki ye erythrium is for white ants, and this is for this, and this for this," and you start doing it. And what better way to learn than practically implement it? So you know the cockroaches are dead and your treatment has worked or not worked. I started doing flats across Mumbai.
But why did you start this business? Pest control में कैसे आ गया?
Zero capital requirement, drill machine,
देखा कहाँ आपने?
pump, Baikala store of Ratanshi Velji and Namdev Umaji. I still remember those stores at the back of my head, and the chemicals, and a drill machine. So that was it. There was nothing more to it. I saw PCI doing pest control in my building, and that gave me an idea.
That's it. You're like,
these
I'll
guys,
copy
nothing.
this.
That's it. And that was all that I could afford, right? So that was the beginning. My ability to be able to go and sell my skills to people because of my passion was obviously there. And I started selling pest control to people, and I would reach out more. The biggest contract I got in the first year and a half of working was Bank of Baroda. I think more than 100 flats in Mumbai.
Yeah.
And their office was at Bilatpur. My ability to be able to dress up well, go to them, do a presentation, come across as a company. So they didn't know jack shit that I was operating out of my home. Then I hired a Jhopra in Vadala and made it a pest control office because I needed an address. Right. So that was the first, I think I did 91, 92, 93. Yeah. 2.5 years I must have done pest control.
Like first 1.5 years is fine. Like you got Bank of Baroda after 1.5 years of effort. How do you get those first, second, third, like first five clients?
Anything and everything. Word of mouth,
cold calling,
business card, cold calling. I would go and sit at Bombay House. My uncle used to work in Bombay House at Tata's. So free food would be available in the afternoon. He would buy me my food. And in doing so, he would also talk to his colleagues. And somebody said, I need a pest control treatment. Somebody said something.
So Max Jugad.
Max Jugad, you do. But I always was of the bent of mind to grow the business. So I would never be happy with one flat. I would always be looking at how can I do the office ka pest control. So I remember I started doing Bombay House, and he introduced me to admin manager. Admin manager gave me some work. Those days, Arshad Mehta used to stay at Madhuli Apartments. Madhuli was my first branded building. I got to do pest control. I've done pest control in that whole building with my own hands. Bombay House, I have done pest control within that building with my own hands. Right. Okay. So that was a starting point. Okay. And then Bank of Baroda came in. So it was always growing at the speed of light, and so that was the beginning. There was no time to reflect back and understand what's happening here. The growth, hunger was
momentum
growing.
Was driving you.
I started doing contracting because through pest control, I did Sunita Apartments at Pedder Road, and they gave me their water tank cleaning contracts. And I've never learned to say no in my life. So
you will learn it and do it.
Kar lenge. And I'll do a damn good job.
Got it.
Take it, then learn it, and then take help where it's required. Stand there, get it done yourself. And I think majority of things in life are common sense driven. Majority of things are not rocket science. They are very, very common sense, and common sense is the most uncommon thing in the world. So if you have common sense, apply it. So water tank cleaning contracts led to plumbing wall repairs led to road repairs and creating speed breakers. And then I got into contracting. And the minute I was into contracting, the value was 10x, 20x of that. I went to architects and gave some letters and got the first architect to give me work of building plastering of Tata Press Limited at Prabhadevi. And that was those days that contract was supposed to be at 10, 11 lakhs. It turned into 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs was like a 40 crore contract today. Like it was huge.
Yeah.
And there I learned everything about...
right now? What's your age right now? 20?
My age then was, I started at 19, so it was 21.
So again, I want to take a pause here. Like you're saying this with such ease and grace, but like again to a 20-year-old, this is unheard of. Like they do not have the confidence and the charm that you are talking about. And you mentioned like literally 2 minutes ago that you always had it in you. You always knew you had potential. How did you develop that? And how can a 20-year-old not as confident develop this?
I think my father's job that moved me from school to school always put me into an uncomfortable new zone.
Okay.
So I make myself comfortable in a new environment very easily. I adapt to it. So if I'm in Italy, I adapt to it. I try and start learning Italian and dressing up the way they dress and trying to blend in. If I'm in Mumbai, I can blend in and start and learn Marathi and be a part of it. So I've never had difficulty in blending myself into an environment. If I'm in a corporate culture, I can be a corporate culture. If I'm with rickshawala, I can talk to a rickshawala. So the whole idea was a mindset to adapt to your environment.
Got it.
Because then you never feel out of place. The sooner you adapt to an environment, you are in your comfort zone with them. And it's again a mindset thing. Through the school doing it, and then in college doing it, I spent enough time in garages modifying my motorcycle and spent enough time doing races and stuff like that.
So you've been very fluid throughout your childhood.
Extremely. You're not fixed-minded onto anything. I think that really worked. Even today, if I'm in a new environment and I'm working with government officials, I'm as comfortable. If I'm working with bureaucrats, I'm as comfortable. If I'm working with politicians, I'm as comfortable. I'm working in corporate India, I'm as comfortable. Modulating to their wavelength rather than being the odd one out.
Makes sense.
Most youngsters, I think, come with a very one set of mind, and I think they need to be more fluid, more agile, adopting, improvising on the go.
Yeah, I think we talk ourselves out of this key. Oh, this is not me. This I can't do. So we stay away from that and we stick to a niche.
That nothing. I mean, that's your ego speaking that this is not me.
Got it.
Right. You are a nobody.
Yeah.
To begin with, you are a nobody. Till the time you really prove, and even when you prove, you got peers and bigger people than them who really proved better and better than you. So you are a nobody all your life. The only way you can be happy is if you adopt yourself in a certain environment. Right? Happiness is a reflection of who you are. You are unhappy, you're going to be unhappy. You're happy, everybody else is going to be happy. So it's a reflection of who you are, and that's the kind of comfort level you create for people. They take a little time to absorb you as their own, but very soon, if your mindset is of being one of them, you'll be accepted by them. And if you'll be accepted by them, it's an environment. Now it's your comfort zone, it's your strength. Right? Makes sense. To move from pest control to contracting was not difficult. Meeting architects and pleasing them was not difficult. Because those days, architects would not have qualified contractors. And at the end of the day, I was a mechanical engineer, right? So having an engineer to be a contractor, those days, all contractors used to be unpad gavars. And here there is a smart kid from a college who dresses up well, talks in English, technically studies, debates with the architect. For him, it was a pleasure to work. Like if I would go, the work was mine.
Got it.
And of course, then I had to deliver.
If you could break this down, like you mentioned 2-3 things, like you would dress well. What part of your personality helped you sell better?
I think the mindset of just learning and self-learning. So I would know nothing about water cement ratios and concrete. I would learn.
It wasn't overwhelming as a 20-year-old to get into this room with, like, I'm assuming bigger contractors or like competition.
If you allow yourself to be intimidated by people, that's one route you take. Second route you take is to shock everybody in the room with the level of knowledge and homework that you come with. And in my case, it's always been the latter, which is the more difficult part. So being a non-qualified architect, pitching for a building design and architecture, and our designs being better than most qualified architects, or conducting a talk show and I'm the moderator and the rest of the architects are my panelists, and kind of showing my superiority in my level of knowledge rather than showing my superiority in terms of my brand or who I am. Right.
Correct.
A level of knowledge, then they start respecting and loving you because they know you somebody special.
Yeah.
And that special has happened because of your hard work and learning. You need to learn. Hollow vessels can be identified by people very easily. But when you're a vessel that's got steam inside, people respect you.
Got it. So the confidence came from preparation.
Yes,
in a way.
lots of preparation. Anything and everything I like to prepare myself.
Yeah.
I'm not the one to stay overconfident and go to some place. Anything new I do, I like to know everything about it.
Got it.
I love to research, know what the world does, know what India does, what's happening, who are the others, and then always have my edge. I'm never the cheapest. I've always sold myself at a premium in every category.
You know why you're doing what you're doing.
Because I deliver value, no?
Fair. Okay, then let's go back to, we are at contractual work.
So contracting I did since 93 to 95. And I did Pauna, Alibag, Bungalows, Kashid, Nandgaon. Those days, those were coming up places. Kamshet, Karla. For architects, I became a contractor. We started doing larger contracting jobs. And somehow the desire to grow was still there. And I didn't like the concept of me being a contractor for architects because most guys I worked with, I felt my level of design and knowledge was even superior to them.
Okay.
So I would not tell them or intimidate them, but I knew it.
Got it.
I started importing furniture. I reached out to Italy and realized India doesn't import official furniture. Those days, the only way furniture would be imported in India was illegally under transfer of residence. So no matter who incorporate India, everybody's houses and offices with fancy furniture was all illegally imported under transfer of residence. There was no official import procedure. I found out what the process is, how to import, went to Italy, made my connections.
What was your modus operandi to like research and learn? Like you didn't have ChatGPT
Magazine, books on, I think, the road between Churchgate and VT station, those magazine guys selling books. I picked up Officio as a book, and which was all fancy office furniture. And picked up companies from there. Those days was fax. I faxed them and I got a reply from one. I don't know how many faxes I sent, but I got a reply from one.
Your version of cold emailing to them.
Yeah, that was cold emailing. That was cold calls. And then I said, I want to come to Italy and meet you. For them, it was like India. They're not selling anything in India. So they're like, Aja, khareed le maal. That was their attitude. And for me, it was a big thing for a company to say, exclusive for India. So I'm representing an exclusive company for India. Right. But there was nothing in it. So I got one Italian company and then I got more.
22, I think.
27 Italian companies is what I represented. Created the first Italian furniture showroom in Mumbai, in India and Mumbai, and created the first exhibition of Italian furniture in India at Nehru Center.
So it was like an offline marketplace where all those 27 brands would be featured in itself.
I got all 27 brands. A lot of the companies physically visited India for the first time. And I put up stalls and showcased their products. Invited all the architects and designers across, and that was the beginning point.
So the deal was like you would go to Italy to these companies, you just buy their product, sell it in India.
Buy their product, sell it in India, get their catalogs, showcase it here, take orders here, and then started getting into components and selling. That's what led to manufacturing. A small workshop.
Now, an interesting thing happened, I think, in 98 or 99 when I think the government
changed the policy.
Yes.
That was I started in 96, 97. The government policy changed. And furniture was under special import license, where you would buy a license to buy. That was a license Raj.
Yeah.
Buy a license to be able to import furniture. They put the special import license, wood and wooden products under negative list for 6 months.
Okay.
An overnight decision by Commerce Ministry. Fuck knows what triggered it, but my whole life turned upside down. And I had to compulsorily get into manufacturing. I didn't have a choice. So then I would go to Italy, buy components. Components import was allowed.
Okay.
And then fix those components.
Raw
and make
materials
the rest
is
of
what
it.
you bought.
Absolutely.
And you set up the factory in Daman.
Set up the factory in Nagpur first. And from Nagpur we moved to Daman. 97, I think, March, April or October, we set up the factory in Daman. And started manufacturing modular furniture. That was a turning point.
So again, like you moved, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you moved from a form of trading to manufacturing and then selling. Now this transition itself is not easy because trading is like cash flow wise, it's much better business.
It came very easy to me because I had spent enough time in garages with my motorcycle. So for me, manufacturing is a workshop. And I'd done enough of welding and enough of things and enough of lathe machines across during modification of the bike. So for me, And also my diploma in mechanical engineering, I had learned argon welding, MIG welding, operation of lathe machines, vernier calipers, screw gauge. So in manufacturing, I was far superior with my knowledge, right? Because I was not dependent on my laborers to teach me how it is to be done. I would tell them how it is to be done. And I was a hands-on worker, right? A very dangerous person, and a person can do things with his own hands. You cannot be bullied by anybody because you rule the roost. You teach people how things are to be done. So setting up the factory was a very easy one for me. And I had learned the best processes in Italy when I was importing from them. I had visited their factories in Massa, Carrera, Rimini, Pesaro, Fano, Bologna. I've traveled extensively across Montecatini near Florence, extensively across to these 27 companies, made friends there. They helped me. They taught a lot. I'd seen their manufacturing, which was way advanced. Robotic arms were doing coatings in Olivetti synthesis in 96.
Wow.
Green laser guided lights were cutting leather in Poltrona Frau in 96. Right. I imported the first Poltrona Frau to India in 97 for Apollo Tires and Morphogenesis Architects, Manit and Sonali Rastogi as a supplier to them, and imported the Porsche design. So I got to understand what is Porsche Design Studios. I got to understand what is Poltrona Frau. I had no idea what this organization is. I got to see their manufacturing processes and then import their stuff in India. So imagine the amount of learning that happened within a year or 2 years or 3 years of working with the Italians. And I was working at the top level. Helped a lot. When I was into manufacturing, I had already seen those things and I wanted to translate. I didn't have the money and the resources. But with hand tools, we started adopting and creating what we could.
And parallelly, what was the mindset that you were operating? Like, what was driving you at that time? Was it money, or have you transitioned out of that right now?
Money always came as a byproduct. Money is very important, but it's never been my purpose of life. I've never treated it with kind of, how do I say? I respect it, but I don't care too much for it.
Even ever since pest control days?
See, the high is very different when you're creating something and you're exporting the first piece of furniture and the chairman of Emirates Airlines is flying your furniture to Dubai. That high cannot be compared with money.
Kick out of the new things.
The kick is huge. And my designs were always ahead of its time. I did ILFS building in Bandra Kurla complex. I supplied 600 workstations to them. Hafiz contractor was the architect. They had approved Herman Miller workstations. It was approved, signed, done and over. And because I happened to do HDFC Remen House as a contractor, they gave me a chance. I said, give me 15 days. I'll give you something which is as good, but perhaps less than half the cost. I gave them Herman Miller workstations which they had approved, superior in design, created workstations in those 15 days. I went to Italy, picked up what raw materials I wanted, created it, and I sold 600 workstations to them at 1/3 the cost. Even today, ILFS had those workstations.
Did you delegate this or did you do it yourself?
Myself. Design concepts cannot be delegated. It is not something that I can say, oh, tu kar le. Wo nahi hota hai. Design comes from you and your gut. Business comes from your gut. Relationships come from your gut, right? You can't delegate that. Manufacturing can be delegated. Your people will mass manufacture 600 workstations, blah, blah, blah. They'll assemble. You go and motivate them at site. You stand with them in the assembly. So throughout, you have to, as a leader, lead from the front. People are always ready to follow you. But if you are missing as a leader and there is no leadership, people don't follow anybody and there is no deliverance that happens in that bargain. So we had a lot of challenges creating it because we had never manufactured 600 workstations.
Yeah.
It was a huge challenge, huge task, huge order, financial management and design management and manufacturing management. But we did it. I don't think we did it on time. We delayed it. We did it, but I was standing. So when you delay it and you're standing, the next big order we got was Oracle headquarters in Bangalore, Bannerghatta Road. Again, we delayed it, but we delivered it. So again, Oracle's first headquarters in Bangalore, Bannerghatta Road. I still remember their first large outlet in India, offices in India. We did it and we supplied the workstations there. And soon the architects with whom I was working, I realized that if I'm doing furniture design, their interiors could have been better. And that was a turning point where in 99, I said, I'm not going to supply furniture to architects any longer. By the time I'd done enough projects across the length and breadth of the country, I'd set up Bombay, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gurgaon, Pune, showrooms in all these cities. We've always moved at the speed of light. I don't think, like I said, human mind puts these barricades. There's nothing that stops you from doing it. and I've not allowed myself to be stopped by anybody. So in that 2 years between 97 to 98, we put up all these cities and projects in each and every city. ISB site office was done by me in Hyderabad. So all the leading cutting edge projects were being done by us. Ambani's headquarters at Belakpur. Those days, Tina Ambani used to handle it, and Dhirubhai needed specialized because of his physical challenges. Shakti Parma, architect, exactly knew what Dhirubhai wanted. I designed it, I supplied it. Right, so we did a part of their headquarter area for them. So all these were cutting edge projects. You were working with the finest architects, finest clients, and delivering. I remember I supplied chairs from Montecatini, Italy to Kumar Mangalam Birla. Talati Pantaki were the architects. So, those projects didn't matter because I delivered something to people. I didn't know how big they were. I had no idea. I knew somebody in Birla. I had no clue who Kumar was, what legacy. And that time Kumar's offices were being done and the architects came and approved. I had to go to Italy, pick up the chairs, air freight the bases, get the leather, assemble it, and but deliver it.
So you were extremely passionate about design, furniture.
Very passionate about design.
And did you fall into this passion?
I guess my 3 years of working with the Italians kind of put my foundation correct in design. And design always had to be purpose driven. I was trying to prove a point with my design. I was never designing to make quick buck. I was never designing to I wanted to showcase the products I designed or the offices I designed or the studios I designed or the yacht I designed had to be outstanding. So that's the mindset. I don't care what the client wants. The client does not even demand it, but the desire to create an outstanding environment and rule the roost, right? You rule. You kind of. So if I started designing television stations, I ruled. There was a time where no matter which channel you change on remote, 90% of channels are all designed by me. No matter which one. We started with Star, Z, Sahara, NDTV, MTV, Channel V. The whole television station, studios, offices were designed by us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Viacom and all that.
All. I mean, there was hardly a channel that was not done by us. So, and you get to doing it right. The industry recognizes who you are. Your brand sells. Like if you're doing a new station, call Jimmy and give it to him. He'll handle it. Right? And then you start interfacing with management and adding value and say, why do you need cubicles? Why do you need this? So you start interfering in HR. You start showcasing your prowess in management, design, and brand understanding very early on. People respect that because then they want you on board. They know that you will bring so much of value to them.
Correct. I have a parallel question in mind. I get a lot of questions from college students asking me that I am in media BA, I'm doing some bachelor's degree. I want to get into content creation. I want to get into AI for that matter, but I don't understand tech. I don't understand media. And I personally am to be blamed here as well. I also feel that because I'm not a techie. I am like a proper media person, business person. So I also put that constraint on me that यार AI मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा. मैंने टेक नहीं सीखा है, कॉलेज में टेक नहीं किया. तो let me focus on what I'm good at and I will stay away from this. What would you say to someone like that?
Take a deep dive in learning it. Anything that's not your comfort zone, go for it. Just jump into it. Because the only way to break this myth in your mind and the barriers, silos that have been created is by getting into it. देखेंगे ना, जमता है नहीं जमता वो बाद में करेंगे ना, पहले देखेंगे ना, ऐसी कौन सी चीज जो नहीं जमेंगी. You get into it, you may not be good at it, but you will at least know about it and helps. It will complement your career. It will complement what you do. You will come up with better suggestions than what a techie would because you are passion driven on content creation. You will use tech to the maximum advantage, right? And you will always be ahead of the curve compared to other content creators who think like you, that they are not techies and they need a backup, right? So get into it. Learn to get into uncomfortable territories and zones. Don't let your mind create silos and block you. So somebody in BA, BCom, science wanting to get into content, let them do. But then once they get into it, how much amount of research do they put in? And how much amount of understanding of the subject they self-learn? And how much amount of time they spend in doing it? And how quickly? These are the important facts.
Okay.
Most people get into it. Recently, I was giving a talk and somebody got up and said, I quit my job. I borrowed money and I put up a restaurant and blah, blah, blah. I heard him out and I was a failure and now I'm planning to do it again. I said, what shit have you done? You've done the easiest thing. Borrowed money, quit your job. Both the things don't require you to be in an uncomfortable zone. I said, are you passionate about cooking? He said, no. Are you a good chef? No. Are you a good service person? No. Are you a good designer who creates environments? No. I said, why the fuck have you got into? Why have you got into restaurants when you don't bring any value add to what you're creating?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you get into a business?
True.
So if I'm not good at content or I'm not good into it, or I'm not good into tech, I don't bring any skill set to the table, demonstrable, and I get into the business, naturally I'm going to be a failure. Failure is written on your plate from day one. And you'll end up doing all the easy stuff, borrowing money, quitting your job. So all the easy stuff is done. Then failure is written ahead, right? But if you may be whoever, you're passionate about cooking, you learn it. Then you start serving and you're really good at it. You hone your skills. Then it doesn't matter what background you come from, right? You might be a techie who's doing food, or you might be a chef who's into tech. None of that matters.
Okay. Follow up to that is like, again, 22-year-old. I don't know what my passion is. People usually say explore, try this, try that, and then you'll figure out which direction you want to go. Should that be the following principle, or should what is working in the industry right now, where the money is, should that be the motive?
I think there's no one particular answer for it. It's a combination of a lot of things. Luck also does play a role, but a very little one. People like us write our own luck and destiny. If people are non-passionate about anything in life, then they should just stay home and chill, rather than wasting time and taking away other people's opportunities. At the end of the day, there has to be a calling from within. There has to be a desire. If there is no desire, it's not going to happen. And nothing is going to fall into your lap. So you need to very quickly in life build a purpose. You may not be interested in impacting the world, but there has to be a purpose larger than you making a quick buck. Making a quick buck is a byproduct. Everything I used to race because I used to enjoy racing. I used to modify my bike because I wanted to be number one. I wanted to take the highest jumps. Right. And I knew I had a handicap. I had an Indian bike which I was competing with global, a Suzuki RM or a Yamaha YZ, and I had a Indian RD 125 which I had modified 110, not even 125 those days. So you want to demonstrate your prowess or your superiority via your work and hard work and knowledge. So there has to be a purpose. I wanted to win the race. Right. So if there is no purpose, I want to run a race because I will make some money. That's a non-passionate way of looking at it, and I'll never be successful.
I understand. But you don't come from money. And people who don't come from money usually have a scarcity mindset. Especially when it comes to money, that जल्दी से कमा लेते हैं, कुछ कर लेते हैं, and then they think about purpose. आपको starting से कैसे है?
Abundant mindset is what you need to have, because otherwise you can't grow. Petty people can't grow. If you don't have the jigra, as they call it, in our Desi language, you don't have the jigra, you can't grow. You need that jigra, you need that stomach, you need that appetite. And it comes with an abundant mindset, and you know you're a performer. You know who you are. Why are you worried? I've never been worried about another architect learning something from me. I've never been worried about my employee starting his own business. Never been worried about my chef starting his own business.
Nice.
You have an abundant mindset. And if people are petty, so be it. You no time to waste on reflecting on who's petty, who's not. It's okay. But you have an abundant mindset, and without an abundant mindset, you can't create an institution. You can't institutionalize yourself. You can't grow your business. If you have a petty mindset, you are restricting yourself. You're a frog in a well. You want to grow, you need to get out of the well. And getting out of the well means accepting that the world is too huge and there's enough elbow room for everybody. So every time somebody says they are coming up with a resort near you, I'm very happy. More the merrier. I'm never worried about competition. If we are good, we will survive. And we'll grow, and in competition, we'll work better. Because to run a race also, you need a good opponent, right? Otherwise, you're bored. If you're running a race all alone, then it's not a race. You need competition around to get the best out of you. Right? If there's no other designer I can compare myself to, then there's no competition. If there's no other hotel, there is no other township, there's no other product supplier like ours, then there's no competition. It's not going to force me to work harder in that direction. So I think having entrepreneurship very early in life has to be an abundant mindset. You have one roti, your mindset is to divide this roti and eat together. If you have a mindset कि मैं खा जाऊंगा मेरी रोटी, तेरी रोटी भी मैं खा जाऊंगा उसकी भी, तो बदहजमी हो जाएंगी, you will not be able to grow. I think the mindset is very clear, the purpose is very clear.
Good, yeah. No, thank you for that. I think that's a very good answer. Coming back, 2000, you're at 1999, 2000, you're doing this for Viacom and all of these
We started doing turnkey interiors. The first one we did was for Star TV at Kamla Mills. And after that, we never looked back. the very first project I did, we won the Young Design Practice Award from Triple ID. Then we did Radio City, the radio station for them at ILFS. I'd supplied workstations in that building earlier. And our work began to be appreciated by corporate world. Within no time, we were designing corporate headquarters for who's who in India. I must have done about 250 brands, the biggest brands in India, from UB to Bajaj Auto, all were done by us. DSP Merrill Lynch and IFL, Religare Capital, so on and so forth. We specialized in finance, all the financial industry companies we were doing. We specialized in television, radio. We did retail, lifestyle products. I designed Vijay Mallya's yacht. I did his headquarters. It was fun. It was a great time to work with the top guys in the country. I got a lot to learn because working with the corporates, I'm working with the top management. So a lot to learn when I would interact with Rajiv Bajaj. I would interact with the Vijay Mallya. I would interact with the Subrata Roy Sahara. I would interact with, who's who across the corporate world and professionals. So it was amazing time for me. I enjoyed it. I was respected. I was treated well. I made the best of friends everywhere I went. I think it was one of the best periods of my life designing for the corporate world. Because I got to understand brands and via the medium of my design, how do I impact brand positioning? How do I create match the aspirations of the brand with the physical asset, thereby impacting the internal stakeholders' perception of the brand, the external stakeholders' perception of the brand. And none of these briefs were given to me by my clients. I took it upon myself.
Okay.
So when I would design an L&T Finance, I would design the headquarters the way I would want L&T Finance brand to be positioned, understanding they're going to get listed, they're going to be applying for a bank license, they're going to be doing this, they're going to be doing... So very quickly understanding the management perspective and then giving a design solution. These briefs didn't need to come because I very early on, I did a session with IDEO Design in 2004. I understood design thinking. I understood empathy. It turned my way of thinking and design. That was a pivotal point for me in life. At that time, design thinking was not even innovated. It was design processes which later Tom Kelly, Peter Kelly, Tim Brown got design thinking as a management discipline. And I was one of the early students who understood it, kept following, and hence my way of thinking. When somebody would approach me for a design solution would be, I don't care what you tell me because you yet not know what you want. I often give an example that you're like a patient who comes to me and I'm a doctor. You don't come to me and tell me, give me 2 red pills, 2 green pills. But in the world of design, clients do that. They go to an architect and say, Mereko ye hona, my wife wants this, my husband wants this, so on and so forth. And
good point.
Again, in chairmen of organizations think they know it all and they say, okay, we want this. If it's a builder, he thinks he's the biggest designer. He says he knows it all. So you listen to it. You don't counter them, but you tell yourself they yet not know what they want because it's your job as a consultant to come up with things that they've not thought of themselves. So we've created experiences. Some of the earliest experience centers in India we created. We created a lot of innovation within the world where we were kind of channelizing our energies, quick to pick up and create automation within spaces. Put the brand out there and utilize the brand. So I remember creating chandeliers for Vijay Mallya with all the liquor brands together. So the bottles were the chandeliers. And I asked him to order a A380 aircraft and hung it on the ceiling. That time he had invested with F1 and I managed to get a replica of the F1 car in the lobby. So kind of thinking on their behalf of the brand. Right. Very, very critical. Most designers would not do that. They'll say, okay, your office, they would care to hoods. They'll start designing. And I would never start designing. I would just think, I would go off to San Francisco Science Museum, see something new, get myself inspired, come back, and then design the headquarters for Religare Capital. So I designed a casino. Delton was done by me. So I went to Vegas and I understood the casino business, came back. Vijay Mallya's yacht, I went and met the architect who designed Ferrari yachts in Fano, Pesaro. Spoke to him, understood what they're doing, come back. So I would never allow myself to be constrained out of my limited knowledge and then give solutions. Every time a new project would come to me, I would not discuss anything with anybody. I would at my own costs. I had enough global connections, travel, go, meet people. When I was doing Star TV, somebody spoke about an automation on a smart board. I said, okay. 3 days later, I told them to send me visa from Hong Kong. I was in Hong Kong at the headquarters to understand what the smart board was. You know, I was one of the first ones to import the smart panels in the country. Subrodhara Sara, somebody told him about flotation tanks. I found out who the innovator was in the world in Singapore. A week or two later, I was in Singapore, met with the founder, flotation tanks. We bought 2 flotation tanks, one for Subrodhara Sara, one for Amitabh Bachchan. And I kind of gave it to them. It was a new concept of human beings floating on 8 inches of highly saline water and cutting the environment. So people are talking about wellness now. We fucking did it in 2006. You're ahead of your time by leaps and bounds. People speak of sustainability, and you are at the cutting edge because you don't allow yourself to be bound by geographical locations, countries, people, thinking to provide solutions out of the same stale knowledge. You need new solutions. You go acquire new skill set, acquire new knowledge, and give a solution. And I was never afraid of connecting people because I was never meant of an agent mindset.
Yeah.
I would see the flotation tank, say, this is the founder, this is the owner, that's the address. You deal. Let your people buy it. So never trying to restrict that knowledge with myself and give a solution. What if somebody else finds out? I'm never worried about it. By the time somebody else finds out, that's his luck, that's his destiny. I'm working on something else. Also, the number of projects I did at a point in time was too many. I would have about 40 projects running, 40 brands running in and out, everything from a pan parag to something else. But everywhere my idea was what new. I imported the first human lights from Artemide.
I love it. Yeah.
So kind of everything was
Proper
something
innovation.
different, something new, something that you'd not done before. Right. So when I was designing Vijay Mallya's yacht, I learned about marine architecture, hired a marine architect, increased the floor in the yacht, moved the bridge, understood what goes into running of a yacht and how to balance it. So you work with the best people in the industry and then come up with a solution which is beyond everybody's expectation.
Who was teaching all this? Like, did you have a mentor?
You don't need a mentor. You can self-learn everything. I don't think you need a mentor, but through the way you hire a marine architect, he sees you are passionate, you start discussing, I understand structure being an engineer, you start discussing with him, start challenging his knowledge, and he starts loving you and respecting you, and that's your collaboration. Right? You don't need a mentor. Nobody's going to train you. Nobody's married to you. You're not nobody's kid, or you're nobody's blue-eyed boy who's going to sit and mentor you. I think get out of that filmy sapna of mentoring. People only mentor somebody if you show equal amount of passion and there's something in it for the person.
Correct.
So nobody's going to sit you down unless they have a vested interest in you. If they're eyeing you as their son-in-law, that doesn't happen in reality in life. You're nobody's blue-eyed boy. But people develop a liking for you. That definitely happens, and that liking comes from your passion, your desire, your performance, your giving them the credit for what knowledge you have, not hiding it from people, acknowledging that yes, they've contributed to your level of knowledge. I think, again, it's an abundant mindset.
And working with all the Birlas and Ambanis and Vijay Mallas of the world, what is it that you picked up from them?
From everybody, you get to learn something. The methods of working, methods of management, leadership style. Like I said, no one size fits all. Everybody's styles are very different. Rajiv was most polite, most soft, but one message from him and you have to read his message 10 times. I would shiver with Rajiv's message if I had not delivered pro biking. Right. I still remember that one message that Rajiv sent me one day. What is it that we are doing that we should not be doing? And what is it that we are not doing that we should be doing? That's it. I read the message. I don't know how many times. I had not delivered a couple of cities pro biking stores. We were behind schedule. So his question was, what is it that we are doing that we are not doing?
He directly did.
And what is it that we should be doing? So we should be firing you. So, I mean, he was not impolite. He was not anything. He just sent me this much.
Nice.
And that was good enough for me to tighten my shoestrings and go to every city and deliver the goddamn showrooms to him. Right. But I mean, so there's so much of learning. My respect for him is just beyond anybody else.
Nice.
For all reasons, good, bad, ugly. My respect for Mallya is huge, irrespective of what has happened on the financial side. One of the most hardworking entrepreneurs in the country. Opposite of what the brand creation was and narration was. I've said it not after his interview. I've said it many times before his interview, and I've been seeing it all through the years.
Yeah.
I think his level of knowledge on the yacht inspired me to work harder. His level of knowledge when I was designing the office in terms of brand understanding was huge. People would think he's a spendthrift, he'll blow money. Sorry, he would be the most conservative and he would get the best out of me. He would create luxury at economy value. That was his talent. The number of meetings he would have in a day. I was privileged to have access to his cabin. I could go in and out. I never needed an appointment. He had given me that luxury. But the amount of meetings I would see him put in a day, and hence he could not manage his time. And everybody would be cursing that, oh, he called us at 1:30 and he's meeting us at night 2 o'clock. The man is slogging his butt out without a break. So all that party and the women and all that was just one side of the story. It was not the reality. Reality was he was slogging his butt out between businesses. And that's how he was involved. Learned a lot from Subrata Rai Sahara's vision. Learned a lot from Deepak Kothari, Panparag, how to manage money. Learned a lot from so many people across. Throughout Peter Mukherjee, I did 9X for him. Samir Nair, I did NDTV Imagine for him. I've seen Peter grow from a VP to a CEO, from CEO to how he brought about Star, how he started regional channels. So there is so much of learning from each and every one. I learned a lot from Ad Factors, Madan and Rajesh, India's largest PR agency. I did their headquarters. Very soft-spoken, across financial segment. They're giants and kings of financial PR in India and globally. Yet Madan is working 12-hour days even now. So I think there's so much to learn from each and every one. Some good, some bad. Good experiences, bad experiences. So you deal with builders. You deal with all kinds of the kind of, for want of a better word, let's say not the likable characters. You deal with politicians. And then you deal with the corporate world and very sophisticated people like Rajiv. And then you deal with very flamboyant entrepreneurs who are into their Lamborghinis and Ferraris. So, great amount of learning. I think I don't need an MBA school or college. Better learning than that. Interacting with top management entrepreneurs across India. Has been an amazing journey.
There's a notion that you have to network with the top 1%. Right now, Gen Z is like, हम कैसे network कर सकते हैं? Because you have worked with so many people, like the main names you mentioned. Would you call it networking? Would you call it relationship building? And how would you advise like a 25-year-old today to like meet such high quality people?
So I think 25-year-olds need to understand that you are no Shah Rukh Khan or you are not no Robert De Niro with a chocolate face that people are going to sit and network with you. Why you? Why are you giving so much of importance to yourself? Right? The people who are in the position of power are always looking for people to value add to their lives. So if you're providing them those solutions, you are bringing something more on the table than they have bargained for or paid you for, then they will want to sit and have a cup of coffee with you. If you don't bring that skill set, they're not going to waste their time entertaining you. Right? So come back to ground earth and reality. Start working in every relationship to give more than what you take. If they've engaged your services and they're paying you X amount, what else do you bring apart from those services? That builds relationships. Relationships are always centered around you giving something more than taking. The minute that happens, then people love you. If today I'm in Pune and tell Rajiv, he might say, if he's got time, he'll say, come and have lunch with me. Right? I'm not even doing a contract. Reason is that relationship, that yes, if Jimmy comes, great guy, he'll bring something to the table. He'll give me some new ideas. Right? That relationship that you had experience in the past and you brought something extra to the table. That's why people want you. People don't, otherwise you're nobody. Why would people want you? Right? And there's nothing like a free lunch. That also needs to be understood by a 25-year-old loud and clear. There is no get-rich-quick Ponzi schemes that will bring you anywhere. They also need to understand your reputation precedes you. If you delivered value, one guy will recommend you to the next guy. Right? Without any vested interest. You need to learn to bring value to every relationship of yours. And whether it's a product, it's a service, it's a process, bring something more to the table than what the other person has bargained for. This is the reality. The more you do, the more your network will be larger. I've always brought value to people. I've never cared for what brief they've given me. I never cared what Malia wanted me to create in the yacht. I brought value. So next time he's doing something, naturally he's going to think of me. He's not going to think of me because he likes me. He's going to think of me because I brought value. And he knows that this guy is not a waste of time. Whatever he charges, he brings more value than that. Every relationship works like that.
And is that how you scale the business? Because I was going to ask you this question, that how did you do sales and all that, but it seemed like your product and the work that you did spoke for itself. People would recommend it to each other, and that's how you scale. So it's inbound business.
There is no publicity like word of mouth publicity. Works best even today's day and age of digitalization. It works the best. And even today in content, user generated content works better than any advertisement that you're going to put out there. So you need to understand, you genuinely need to bring value. And after that, amplification, PR, marketing can amplify it. But if you're bringing value, they have something to talk about. You're bringing something new, unique. They have a selling point. And just packaging or masking it differently doesn't work.
So your there's no sales technique in your book. It's just like deliver great work and things will come to you.
Whatever you want to put it into your product or service. If there is product mein jaan hai, product mein dam hai, to sab bikta hai. Put your 100% into your product or your service or your process. Because if you have that, there'll always be takers. Yeah, destiny will have it, you'll suffer, you'll go down, markets crash. But at the end of the day, if your product is steam, there'll always be takers.
Got it. Okay. We'll come back to 2004-5 we are at right now with the work going on. And I think Della comes into the picture right now. So if you can go to that now.
So Della came into my life in 2007-8 when I bought that piece of land. I wanted to make my villa there in Lonavala. And 2008 recession happened. 9 it went worse.
Yeah.
Most projects were shut down. So that's where we got into, again, put my passion to work. My motorcycles came back to the front and created a ATV and a dirt bike riding track and made it into an adventure park. I created villas to sell to others and got into that zone, created a 30-room resort. It was India's first glamping resort.
So it was supposed to be your personal thing, and then because of 2008 crisis, you moved it.
Personal land where I was supposed to build my villa. And the adventure park, a part of it was supposed to be my riding track. Very fond of horses, very fond of dogs, very fond of bikes. So everything I wanted to do for myself, it was supposed to be for me, for fun.
So it was adapting to the crisis.
It was adapting to the crisis.
Interesting.
And so from being zero debt, we came to all debt because we started investing heavily into hospitality and set up the 30-room resort. From 30 rooms today, we have 310 rooms operational. Now, from that one restaurant, we are now 8 restaurants. From that one banquet, we are now 12 banquets. From that few employees, we are 1,780 employees in hospitality. And Della is a brand to reckon with. Again, it's our mindset. You never looked at ourselves as a resort in Lonavala. For me, we are to compete with the best resorts in India. And hence, we get clientele not just from Bombay, Pune, but we get people from Delhi, we get people from Ahmedabad, we get people from Indore, from Calcutta, we get people across India to our property.
I've been there actually. I went there 2-3 months ago with my family, and
Right.
I didn't do the MTV and all of that, but did go to the restaurant and one of the rooms and all that. I think we did a 3-night thing, and I think it was one of like, I was asking a lot of my friends where to go. I want to take my parents around, and at least 8 or 10 people had suggested Della. Before that, I did not know that there's a resort called Della, but the word of mouth also, just coming back to that proof of
word
concept.
of mouth.
Yeah.
And experiential hospitality, giving a product that doesn't exist. So I'm sure you travel to many places across the world. Della is special. So there is experiential hospitality, and now we've championed and pioneered it. We pioneered adventure in India, and now we are on a expansion and rollout. We are putting up many more townships. We are putting India's first theme-based experiential hospitality destinations and townships. We started working on Pune. We are looking at Jaipur. We are looking at Nagpur, Indore.
What is this project about?
We're setting up 100 acres plus townships in each of these cities with brand Della, where we are bringing resort living as a concept. So we set up a resort, we set up an adventure park, and then we have plotted villas and branded residences for people to live in. So they become a part and parcel of the resort living. So the whole experience is not of a vanilla real estate project.
It's not like a flat.
It's not a flat. You come in and you have an operational resort. And outskirts of the city, when we have this, each resort has its own theme. Something has been themed around a jungle safari, and something has been themed around a horse race course. Something is themed around an F1 autonomous driving racing circuit. So different themes we've designed for these different townships. We're building 300-room resorts there. And
these are residential.
These are residential resorts, adventure park, racing circuit. And then we are putting plotted villa developments and branded residences to sell real estate. We've started doing a special service within the organization known as CDDMO. We proprietary registered it. It's like a development manager but CDDMO stands for conceptualization, design, development, marketing, sales, and operations. So every city we go to known developers who have land parcels and sufficient capacity to invest. We tell them, okay, we'll bring that brand Della. We'll take over, bring a concept, and hence we'll develop real value for you. So that's what we are doing.
Are these in the city or like these are outside?
These are both in the city and outskirts of the city. Within the city, we are looking at branded residences. And outskirts of the city, we are looking at 100-acre townships to develop. So we are looking at Calcutta, we are looking at Bhopal, Raipur, so in Madhya Pradesh and Indore. We are also now beginning to talk Bangalore, Hyderabad and Chennai. So the whole idea is to put up about 25 cities in India, put our 100-acre townships, and that's a mother of all projects. This year, we plan to scale our 310 resort rooms, take it to 3,000 rooms between the first 10 townships we want to sign this year. So that's the immediate future. And 3,000 rooms in India is a serious hospitality player.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's happening on our plate right now.
To the township, how does the costing work? Because when you involve the resort part of it, doesn't the cost increase to like a...
No, it doesn't increase.
Compared to the normal
you invest in a resort as far as you have the capacity and guts to make that resort operational, which we have. Your villas and your real estate sells at double the value. Because if a villa plot is within a resort and you have yet another vanilla real estate project where there is no resort, these two are two different things.
Looking at all the last 20, 35-year-old journey, what would you say, either Mistry or Della, the brand, what does the brand stand for? Like if you can sum it up in 3 pointers, the value pointers.
See, our brand stands for luxury living. We've touched all the facets of luxury living, be it hospitality, real estate, product design, interior environments. So we predominantly touch all the luxury living facets with our brand and our businesses that are there. We also serve an entrepreneur community in a club known as Della Leaders Club, which is predominantly aimed at bringing like-minded entrepreneurs together, but on a global level. So we have a community in New York, we have a community in London, we have the club live in Dubai, we are at DIFC, we have the club live in various cities in India. Now we've grown to about 2,800 members across the world, and some of the most prolific men and women are a part of it as entrepreneurs. So brand Della means different things to different people, but all in all, it's a high design luxury lifestyle brand.
Okay. My last question to you is, again, for a 25-year-old, I'm not sure how much you've interacted with a 25-year-old of these days, but from your observation, what is that one thing which you're scared about when it comes to 25-year-olds or Gen Zs of today?
I'm scared about them having a preconditioned mindset, because they let's say they come out of an NID, they have a preconditioned mindset. They've gone through a good design school, they've gone through this, or they've done an MBA, or they've not done an MBA, they've had a global education or not had a global education. They come with a very fixed mindset. They do not know the world. They are again a frog in a well concept, because they are there, their world is restricted to this much, and with a myopic vision they try and evaluate the world. They need to come out of that well. They need to be allowed to be agile, allowed to understand different perspectives. Also, their inability to get into uncomfortable situations is the biggest hurdle for them to move ahead. If they develop a mindset to be able to stand in the middle of the road and dance and sing if need be, what will the world think? What will others think? What will they think? What will that think? Within an office, what will my colleagues think? Arey, tere ko join ho gaye 2 din to hue. What are you talking about, people? You fired me in front of people. What do they matter to you? I mean, who are they to you? You're giving importance to the wrong people. They don't mean anything to you in your life. So the ability to be very quickly be agile and be comfortable in any uncomfortable situations. Be realistic. Stop giving so much of importance to yourself. What will they think? Who the fuck are they? They hold no place in your life. In your future scheme of things, they are nobody.
Fair.
Right. They're absolutely nobody. Most will not be even, you may not even see their faces ever again in your life. And you're giving the most importance to them. So start giving importance to the right things in life. Say, okay, I'm 25. I've got so many more years to live. What have I contributed? Am I a boja on this dharti? Am I contributing? Am I improving a human life? Am I improving or developing a skill set that I will use for betterment of humanity? Am I developing a skill set that I'll use for betterment of society? Am I contributing to Mumbai city? Am I contributing to Maharashtra? Have I achieved anything for my country? You're not thinking of any of these things which you should be thinking of. And you're worried about what will they think. Right? So I think you should be asking the right questions to yourself.
Solid, yeah.
Stop giving yourself so much of importance. You are a nobody. You may come from whatever family background, whatever money, whatever education, but you're a nobody. Unless you can say, okay, these 500 people have impacted their lives, and by virtue of what I've done, improvement of the poor has happened, needy has happened, suffering is reduced, contribute in some way, that is your achievement. Otherwise, you're nobody.
Good. I will play this in front of my team. Everyone. Thank you so much.
Pleasure speaking to you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Guys, अगर आपको ये पॉडकास्ट अच्छा लगा तो आप इस आई बटन में क्लिक करके हमारे बाकी बिजनेस पॉडकास्ट भी देख सकते हैं, जिसमें हम अमन गुप्ता, अनुपम मित्तल, हर्ष मारीवाले से बड़े बड़े फाउंडर्स को लेके आते हैं एंड एकदम ग्राउंड लेवल बातें करते हैं कि आप कैसे बिजनेस बना सकते हैं, और अगर आपको बिजनेस नहीं बनाया, आप कैसे इनका माइंडसेट लेके कुछ बड़ा कर सकते हो. तो अगर आपके पॉडकास्ट पसंद आया तो मेक श्योर टू सब्सक्राइब टू दिस चैनल सो दैट यूट्यूब इज हैप्पी विद अस एंड इट पुशेस अस टू मोर पीपल. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग.